Hey, you can grow these from seed too. Hey, it's me, Cisco Morris, and here's what's coming up on Gardening with Cisco. My favorite rose has black spot. We'll show you how to put a stop to it. Find out why Hendrikus is helping in Haiti. Plant a grafted tomato, make fresh berry cheesecake, and learn why these people want you to grow an oyster garden. All this is coming up right now on Gardening with Cisco. Hi, I'm Cisco Morris.
And I'm Meeghan Black. Welcome to Gardening with Cisco from the garden that is the beach.
Yeah, I know this is a little bit of a stretch, but this really is a farm. It's an oyster farm. It's a CSA, Community Supported Agriculture. We'll show you why this farm is really good for Puget Sound later in the show.
I'm game.
Oh, you're ready.
But right now we are heading back to dry land into Cisco's garden to tackle a problem that a lot of folks have this time of year. You know, at first glance, this looks like a perfect rose and smells delightful.
Yeah, but Meeghan, there's problems brewing. Oh, one fell off, but they turn yellow, you get those black spots.
So there's more, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. You know, when you start really looking, it's in there.
Oh, look at this right here.
Yep.
Oh,
just getting a touch. I mean, there's not a ton in there.
So you want to take this stuff out, right?
That's right. So the first thing we have to do is get these all out of here.
Okay.
So anytime you see leaves with it, because there's no cure in this leaf, once that's in there,
it's there. And if it drops on the ground,
it'll sporulate.
Right. And cause problems.
And then, cause more problems. So any of these we see, you know, and that's why it's good to start early.
But then there's something else that you can do, and it is the name of?
Rose Defense. And it's neem oil is what this is. It's a vegetable oil squeezed out of the fruit of the neem tree from India. Oh,
who would have known that neem oil would do this?
Yeah.
Or that you can buy neem oil here.
Yeah, and this works really good, but there's one thing you got to tell people.
What?
If it's really cold out when you use this turns into a glob of yucky primordial gook like you've never seen. But, I've already mixed it up in there.
So do we just get to spray?
Yeah, spray away, you know. And
okay, up and over. Oh my gosh, there's more.
Oh, geez, there's no end to work. I'll tell you what. Oh, yeah, there's a few in there.
It's amazing once you start going how much you find.
Yeah, and I can cut them off after you're done. I hate to interfere while you're doing this.
This is stuck down and it won't stop.
Oh, here. There you go.
Okay. I pushed the lock button and I'm like, it won't stop.
This is a nice little sprayer. You can buy these at a lot of garden centers, you know, and they're all you need to do a job like this.
So while you're checking for black spot right around this time and you're, spraying your Rose Defense, you probably want to fertilize too.
Oh, yeah, really important. Every 6 weeks.
Okay.
That way you get these great blooms like this. So this is where our alfalfa meal comes in handy.
And you have the regular organic.
That's right, because you might be missing something in alfalfa meal. Some minerals and things would be really good for the rose, so I like to combine them.
Oh, okay. You're not going to over-fertilize them and have them
I don't think
freak out?
No, because it's organic.
Okay.
If it was synthetic, oh my gosh.
You'd worry about
well, this rose would be hitting the top of the tree.
So you have this really cool ground cover here. How are you going to get the alfalfa meal dug in there?
Baby tears.
Baby tears? Cute.
Okay, I'll throw a little in here.
Okay, you want me to throw a little of this on top?
Hold your breath when I'm throwing this in.
Because you should be wearing your... So you want me to sprinkle some of this on there too now? Oh, you're still holding your breath.
Yeah, I'm finally done with my breath now, you know.
Okay, normally we have to dig this in. How are we going to do that with baby tears?
I have got the tool, Meeghan.
Holy cow.
Check this baby out.
Are you going to take it out or are you going to mix in fertilizer?
Yeah, I could dig it out if I didn't like it. But all I'm going to do is just carefully work this in. Just a little bit into the ground because this alfalfa meal doesn't work too well if you don't. Hopefully this guy, now one last thing.
What?
We got a deadhead.
Okay. So go through deadhead, make everything look so good, but he's still pretty.
Still smells good.
Really good
this
too.
This is Westerland. It makes a bouquet that you can't believe.
I bet. Thank you. I'll take it. So that That is great advice if you have black spot. But the next rose I get, it's going to be black spot resistant. I don't want to do that extra work.
Read the label, it'll usually tell you.
Welcome back to Gardening with Cisco from the community shellfish farm here on Bainbridge Island. You know, the tide has gone out, revealing these bushels of Port Madison petite oysters. Yum! When those babies grow up, they're going to be delicious.
Yeah, but you know, at the end of summer, we're all going to want bushels of tomatoes
No
as
doubt
well.
about it.
Here's a plant that'll help you get them.
I distinctly remember slaving over this garden and planting tomatoes earlier in the season.
Oh, yeah.
What are we doing here with more tomatoes?
In the season, some of those tomatoes barely grew because I didn't protect them, you know.
I love it when Cisco goofs up. I mean, I don't, honestly. I want you to succeed, but occasionally it's nice,
You
isn't
love
it?
giving me a hard time.
I do. But this tomato is a special one, you said.
Yeah,
Tell me why.
It's a grafted tomato. So they graft the kind that you like, Paul Robeson.
Is a
It's
great tomato.
Dark tomato.
Grafted onto vigorous rootstock for super abundant harvest.
Yeah. So they graft it on a wild tomato rootstock.
What do we do to get this guy off to a healthy start?
Well, we stick them right in the middle.
Okay.
All right. So
Now you said you want bone meal and fertilizer?
Got them, both of those.
Okay.
And you know, when it comes to tomatoes, always put in a handful of bone meal.
Okay.
Because that is going to add that calcium that's so important.
Okay.
If you want to mix that up, go ahead.
I can do that.
Okay, and I'll get this guy out. Now, with these grafted tomatoes, Meeghan, you can't plant the graft underground.
Oh, okay, so it's that
really
little line that you're looking for.
That's right, that little line. You can see right where it was grafted.
Right. So let's put in a little. I see.
How's that look? Yeah, I think that's because normally on a tomato that's not standing up, I'll put a cage around that.
Right.
Normally we'd plant that a little deeper, but you can't do that with a grafted.
Otherwise, you'll lose it.
You'll lose it.
Okay.
Yes. All you'll have is the top.
So the other thing you were telling me about a warning with the bone meal and dogs.
Yeah, dogs love it. They'll not only rip out your tomato, they'll try and eat the bone meal and get a lot of soil in them and everything. Not good.
Got to avoid your dogs. Put a little fence or gate around.
Put a fence like I've got here. Make sure they can't get at it. You know, that's really, really important.
Now the basil, you were telling me you don't want to fertilize basil.
No fertilizer. You want slow, steady growth. You get a lot more flavor that way. So I don't fertilize them at all.
Well, and do you care where you put them?
Just kind of close to the tomato because they are made for each other.
Yes, they were.
Oh, Meeghan, does that smell
It does.
good?
Here, we'll put him on this side, and that way we've got a tomato basil sandwich.
Yeah, I don't know if it's... I'll tell you, I don't know if that's going to make it to prosciutto. I may put that on my salad tonight, you know.
Yeah, nice.
Oh,
okay, so get a cage for your tomato. Hopefully the temperature's warm enough.
Yeah.
Do we fertilize him again or not?
No.
Nope, that's it.
You know what? With tomatoes, unless something really odd happens, I just fertilize them when I plant them. A cup of good organic fertilizer, a handful of bone meal. That should be all it takes for the rest of summer.
Paul Robeson. Grafted onto a hardy stalk that doesn't die in the cold.
That's right. So I'm later in heck planting it, but it's going to grow so fast. I get so many tomatoes, it won't make any difference at all.
Man, you are counting on that sun this summer, aren't you?
I am. Please, son, come on.
But what I really want is the weather that you need to get those gorgeous tomatoes.
Oh, I'm with you.
That's what I need. Hey, did you know our buddy Hendrikus traveled to Haiti recently?
Why?
Watch and find out. In 2010, a 7.0 magnitude earthquake devastated Haiti. 3 years later, when Hendrikus Schraven visited, he found a country still in shambles.
They still need an enormous amount of help there. There is still an enormous amount of people living in tents and shacks.
Ben Stiller helped connect Hendrikus to Haiti. Hendrikus built this landscape for the actor, who's been raising money to rebuild Haiti's schools. Hendrikus also learned through Stiller that Haiti's soil needs help.
It's a long history of bad practices.
In Haiti, they burn the land to clear it, leaving behind a landscape that is infertile and heavily eroded.
So they have lost, I would say, a good 75 to 80% of all their fertile soils.
Hendrikus wanted to see if teaching his organic approach here could help heal Haiti's soil and allow them to grow valuable food crops.
This is literally a life or death scenario. The amount of the population that would starve to death in the next coming 10 years is phenomenal.
He found people who were having success with organic methods in Haiti.
This is where we had the meeting with the farmers.
And now he has plans to train others to spread the word in Haiti about how to turn bare earth into rich soil organically.
It's so necessary, and I'm happy that we can actually do this.
Welcome back to Gardening with Cisco from an oyster farm on Bainbridge Island. Hey, you little cuties, we may just have to try a couple of you later. But first, cheesecake.
Oyster cheesecake?
Oh, that does not sound good.
It doesn't at all. We are talking about the two. I bet you're in the kitchen with Lynne via.
Oh, yeah, and hey, we made something really good.
Not oyster cheesecake.
No. All right, Lynn. I am one lucky beetle hopper
Yes,
today. I can't believe we're going to make cheesecake, and I get to do it with you.
You're a cheesecake fan?
Oh, I love cheesecake.
All right. Well, we're going to do a really fun, simple variation of it. No crust or anything, just lots of fresh berries. You can put this together so quickly. I love it. Yeah.
Oh,
so I'm going to have you start. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by putting some fabulous little fruit in the bottom of these little mini ramekins. I love it, don't you? No
Me
crust.
too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So peak of the season, blueberries. La Pierre, Zilla,
Oh, yeah,
Washington.
these are so
fabulous
good.
stuff. Yeah.
So I get to
Just-
put some in there, huh?
You can scatter a few in there. And as you can
Okay.
see, there are other options besides blueberries if you like. So you
I
can
like,
decide you like.
I
Okay,
like.
all right.
Oh.
Go, baby, go.
Oh, boy.
And then we're going to make our little cheesecake batter. Cream cheese, all right, and room temperature.
Oh, is that
you're gonna
important?
you're going to be fighting it like crazy if it's not nice and
Okay.
soft, okay? So we're going to drop that in there, and I'm using a mixer. It just makes it, I'm looking for it to be a little bit on the fluffy side, okay? And then a little pinch of salt and some sugar goes in there, and we're just going to kind of cream that all together. So what I'm going to do is drop this in. Going to start the mixing process, a couple of minutes just to stir it, try to get the lumps out, and then I'm going to turn it up high and whip it for a couple of minutes,
okay.
okay? So here we go. Okay, so we got that nice and fluffy. Now we're just going to add the last few little ingredients.
Oh,
This is all
great.
so easy. So sour cream, okay.
Yeah, sour cream.
Yeah, the key to cheesecake is to get it nice, a little bit of tartness. So the cream cheese has a little tartness, the sour cream. And then I'm going to mix that just a little tiny bit, and then we're going to add the fun flavors, which I'm going to let you do. So first of all, we're going to add some vanilla. So that
Okay.
little guy right there, you can dump that in there.
Alrighty.
And then in that other container is some Grand Marnier and some lemon juice. Go ahead and put that in.
So a little
Now,
tartness there.
exactly. If you don't want to use the Grand Marnier, you can just do a little orange zest in there. It's fine.
Oh.
So we're going to mix that up just a little tiny bit, and then we're going to add 3 whole eggs. And you and I both know you always crack the eggs into a bowl instead of directly into the.
'cause that could be a disaster.
It can be a
Get some
disaster.
eggshell
Yes.
in there. Oh,
All right, so you can go ahead and just put those
All right.
in there, and then at this point, you just want to mix it just until the eggs are nicely blended in there. And what I usually do, just give them a second till they kind of break the yolks, and then I just pull them off the mixer, and that way we can do a last minute little smoothing and making sure all of the ingredients are mixed in there well. So we'll stick that underneath there. Put that there, and then I just take another whip and I just go in and sort of dig from the bottom. And so what you can see, there's just maybe a few little tiny lumps in there. That doesn't matter. Those are going to melt and distribute nicely, but
okay.
you want it to be pretty smooth.
Yeah, it looks smooth to
Isn't
me.
it pretty? Okay. So now we're just going to load this into your gorgeous little ramekins. And, these are probably 6-ounce ramekins. You can use smaller ones. You can use larger ones. You
I
can.
think larger is a good idea myself.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even see that coming. After all these years, I thought I knew you so well. Yeah. So anyway, you want to fill them up about 2/3 full. And then we were going to put some hot water around the outside, kind of like, because cheesecake is not really cake, it's custard. right? So you cook it like a custard. You want to kind of keep the exterior balance to the interior, so that's why we put the boiling water around it. And then we're going to cook them kind of gently. They'll puff up, and then when we pull them out, we'll cool them down. And
How long do you
they
cook
bake
them?
about 40 minutes.
Oh,
yeah.
40.
Well, I may have something up my sleeve.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so when these come out of the oven, they puff up quite a bit. So don't worry about that. Kind of like classic cheesecake. And then they just kind of settle down and they get this lovely little finish on them.
That's not a major concern for me.
All right, let's eat, shall we?
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
So a few fresh berries for you.
Oh,
and then you got to dig down and get those berries out of there, too.
Yeah,
and this is
oh,
summer.
man.
All right.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm on it. So I love this texture. Nice and creamy. I do it every time.
La vie est belle.
Oui, oui.
This is what life's about.
I hear
Oh
you.
my God.
Yeah.
So sorry, Meeghan, but I just couldn't schlep that cheesecake all the way out here to the beach.
It wouldn't have gone with oysters anyway. Welcome back to Gardening with Cisco from the Community Oyster Farm here on Bainbridge Island. You know, our plant pick this week is very old-fashioned, which is just one of many reasons why I love it.
Oh, I love it too. The name comes from Gladiolus, means sword, and it'll be a warrior for beauty in your garden.
How about this for a combination for summer, Gladiolus?
Oh, these two colors will
Isn't
be
that
magnificent.
fun? And I've cleared an entire area because all I want is a splash of color. So right back here against the wall, you can see where we've
perfect. And they'll grow
against
up
the fence.
nice and tall. They get, 4 feet at least.
Right. So here, you hold these. My idea,
Okay.
Cisco, with these, because I want this to be a nice wall of color,
Yeah.
is to kind of do a couple of rows and mix them up as to
I
the
love
different
it.
colors.
I
Isn't that
love it.
fun?
So, hey, let's do 2 trenches.
Okay.
Because we're going to plant these 5 inches deep.
5 inches?
Yeah.
So really, there's not a whole lot to do with that. I need to get some fertilizer in here, though, don't I?
Oh, yeah, all right. I got some right here. And, there's different kinds of gladiolus.
Yeah?
And some are hardy, but most aren't.
Oh, really?
So if you want to guarantee to ever see these again,
Yeah.
then you need to dig them out
Well,
in
the
the
funny
fall.
thing is, I used to have gladiolus, and they came back for several years, and then they just went away.
Yeah, that's because there was a cold
There was a
winter.
cold winter. How funny is that?
All right,
Okay, so why don't you open one and I'll open the other, and we'll trade off.
Okay, good idea. That'll be really neat.
Oh, I love these guys.
I do too,
Large flowering gladiolus.
And people used to use these all the time, but then they kind of got out of using gladiolus, and I think they really add beauty.
So which scent goes down?
Okay, the chubby side goes down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead and put yours in,
All righty.
and I'll put mine in, 5 or so inches
Yeah,
apart.
5 or so inches apart. There we go. Great.
Awesome.
All
Now-
right.
Okay, how long till we start to see these guys pop out of the
Oh,
ground?
I'll bet you that, in a couple of weeks we'll, maybe even a week we might see
Really?
the first.
5
I
inches?
might, well,
Maybe a couple weeks.
maybe a couple weeks.
Okay. So get the gladiolas going. There's so many different summer bulbs that you can plant right now.
Yeah.
And summer is just so much nicer when you've got the flowers.
Oh, it is.
Love it.
It is.
Okay, gladiolas in the ground. Check.
Check. One job done.
Well, the tide is out here on the beach at Bainbridge Island. Our volunteers almost done harvesting oysters.
Yeah, and they're harvesting some real workhorses here.
Look at those.
Each one of these little oysters can clean 20 gallons of water
No
a day.
way.
Filters out all sorts of bad things. You know what else?
Huh.
They're pretty tasty, too.
We're looking for oysters that are kind of that half-shell slurping size. We call them Port Madison petites. It's a good slurping size.
The Puget Sound Restoration Fund runs this farm, and membership has its benefits.
By becoming a member in the farm, we expect that you come out and hang out, do some volunteer work, do some maintenance and sorting and harvesting, but then you also get an allotment of oysters.
This organization also helps people who live on the waterfront plant oyster gardens of their own.
I guess it's no different than planting your garden at home. You buy the seed, you put it out in your growing area, and you do all the maintenance that you need to see it grow and survive and do well. And then you look forward to pulling it off the beach and eating it at some point.
Delicious. Fresh from the sea. It's the way they're the best.
So I guess now is the time where the host is supposed to try one.
Well, where are we cooking them?
Oh, you won't eat them raw.
No, I'm not eating this
Well, then
thing
hand these
raw.
babies
Here you
over.
go. You're
I'm
tougher than
taking
I
them.
am, I'll tell you what.
Have a great weekend, everybody. I got some oysters.
Hey, let's go cook them.
No, I'm eating them right
I
now.
want to cook them.